freezing out here in Texas, guys. 22 degrees to be exact. But I wanted to get this video out, and it's just easier to film by myself. I want to go over my come to Jesus moment, I don't want to say journey, it sounds so corny, but my path here trying to find faith. I went to church yesterday for the first time as an adult, and it was, I want to give my honest opinion about what I thought of it. Now, see, I don't have anything to compare it to, so I don't want to come off as just as arrogant as I did, when I was an atheist and I used to mock this kind of stuff. In the beginning, they sing a bunch of music and stuff, and it's kind of cheesy in my opinion. No, it's a lot of Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. But I don't know, like I said, I have nothing to compare it to. So I don't know if this is just what churches do. One thing I did notice is they had like $200,000 worth of camera gear filming this. I'm assuming to put on the internet. It didn't discourage me from going. I just, I have a friend who, his wife and kids, they go to church every week and he doesn't. He's like, I don't need to go to church to, have a relationship with God. Maybe church just isn't for everyone. I'm going to keep going and I'm going to give it another chance. Most of my friends, if you ask them, they're going to say they didn't like me when they first met me. So I don't want to make this huge judgment call on my first experience, going to church. But this is just kind of like one of the things that I used to mock about religion, was that it was a cash grab, and I don't want to feel that way at all. I will say what the pastor had to talk about yesterday was 100% on point, and my mother went, so that was good, because he was talking about authority and giving up authority. And right when they brought that up, my mom, I could hear her chuckling and started rubbing my shoulder. And that's my biggest issue, right? Is surrendering to authority, and surrendering to God is surrendering to authority, right? So if I'm gonna make these changes, I need to learn to surrender to authority. The pastor yesterday was also a recovering addict, so that's good. These are the kind of people I want to meet. His message was amazing. Everything was amazing. I just wasn't big on the theatrics of it, maybe. And like I said, everyone worships differently. Everyone has a different relationship with God. So for some people, that's awesome. The friends that are with, she's kind of, I don't want to say an introvert, but she's not like huge on big, or like being like forced into small like crowds, like cliquey kind of crowds. She kind of likes to fade into the background. So I get it. I mean, going to a big church like that where there's a lot going on, it's kind of easy to kind of just not be noticed, which is, that's how people are. That's how some people are, That being said, I'm gonna go again. I do want to talk to that pastor. I'm gonna go to a couple other churches, and it's a journey, right? It's a journey. So my come to Jesus moment. God, this filming situation is hard. My come to Jesus moment. I was bow hunting last year. I shot 5 arrows. One went over the back of one of the deer. It hit a piece of barbed wire that was in the pen where the feeder's at, and it glanced up. That's the excuse I'm going to use on that one. But 4 arrows hit deer. And all of them, in my opinion, sorry, my dog wants me to throw the ball. All of the shots, in my opinion, were good shots. They all should have been dead deer. The one thing different about the one that I found was the 3 that I didn't find. I asked God, The 3 that I didn't find, I kept begging God to send in a shooter. God, just send in a deer I can shoot. It's freezing. I am over hunting this season. I don't want to be in the cold anymore. Well, he sent shooters in. He never said I was going to find them. Now, my rational brain tells me, Tony, you suck at archery. Tony, everybody's right. Mechanical broadheads suck. Should have used fixed blade broadheads. Tony, you should have waited longer to go look for them. You jumped them and they took off and you're never going to find them. Which all of those could be true, but all of those could have been affected by God also. You know, Jelly Roll has that song, I only talk to God when I need a favor. Seems to be a lot of us atheists, right? That when we need something, when we're really, really desperate, is when we lean to God. And that's kind of been one of my big criticisms, you know, about religion is it always seemed like a crutch, right? Like, I can just be a total fuck up, language. I can be a total mess up, and I can always just turn to God. And I'm like, it's such a cop-out. It's such a cop-out. You need to take responsibility for your actions and, you know. Over Christmas, money was tight. It's hunting season again, and I've been out hunting and praying to God to send in a buck this year. Well, Thanksgiving morning, heading back from the store, I got T-boned by a buck, a good buck. Smashed in my door really good. He got up, kept running, never saw him again. The insurance company set us $4,000 for the damage to my truck. Was that God helping me out again? God sent in another deer for me. I didn't get to harvest it, but it did save my Christmas. You know, you can only write off coincidences so many times before you just got to accept that maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe it is God. You know, I lost an uncle some years back. I know YouTube's weird about this stuff. Self-deleted himself, unalived himself. However, I gotta say it on this damn website. It was hard. Really hard. You know, what was the reason for that, God? These 10-year cycles I keep talking about, I've been pushed close to self-deleting before. Why? Maybe the loss of my uncle, and then God pushing me to the edge of that cliff too, and not allowing me to slip, was another sign from him saying that I need to break this cycle of, I guess, what my family goes through, I guess what I'm going through, maybe just what men go through. Break this cycle of addiction and depression, and so my kids don't have to struggle through it. I used to always mock religion as a crutch because I didn't want to believe it as true. I guess we always mock everything that we don't believe or something. I don't know. Maybe because I was scared. Maybe because giving up to authority has been something I've been fighting my whole entire life. You know, I was talking to a good buddy, Ron, last night. And, hold on one second, I'm gonna throw the ball for him. Sorry. I was talking to my buddy Ron yesterday, and he has a past, and he recently found his way with God, and he has a violent past, he said. You know, he grew up in a rough area, gang member. So violence was a huge part of his life. And he told me a story yesterday. We were talking about egos. Both of us got these big egos. You know, him, he's a fighter. Me, I'm just arrogant, I guess. I don't know. Good at fabricating. He was telling me a story yesterday about surrendering, and we were talking about swallowing our pride and our ego. And he said a guy threw a soccer ball at his car while he was pulling up to the park for his girls' softball game. If you meet Ron, or you ever see Ron in any of these videos or anything, he's like 6'8", 275 pound, big black dude. Terrifying dude. I wouldn't want to cross paths with him. He literally smashed 99% of the population. And he tells me, Tony, I had my buddy on the phone. He's like, don't do it, Ron. Don't you hit him, Ron. Don't you hit him, Ron. And he had to surrender that pride. Because you know that other guy that hit his car was like, that dude's a bitch. He didn't do shit. Ron knew that. Ron didn't want him to think that. But Ron had to swallow his pride. He had to swallow his pride and surrender to God. Because had he went over there and smacked that dude, he would have ended up with some more charges. It would have just been a huge another headache in his life. It would be one more, just one more hurdle God puts in front of you. Like how many tests can I put in front of you before the next time you do it? You're in jail the rest of your life. Prison. Or you're dead. I'm not going to let this opportunity slip away from me this time. For my family. For my friends. For me. For... hopefully for some of y'all. Hopefully for some of y'all, this will impact y'all enough to maybe make the changes you've been wanting to make in your life. You know, a lot of the reason why I put these videos out too is to hold myself accountable. You know, if I say on here that I'm going to do X, I got to do it because I don't like to be a liar. I don't like to look like a liar. I really try to pride myself on being as honest as possible, almost to a fault. It's gotten me in a lot of fist fights. It's gotten me in a lot of fights. I think I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna go get back in front of the fireplace. It's freezing. I'm gonna go make a cup of coffee.